And I'm with Andrew Barije with me right about now. Well, of course, here we're always here to get you inspired, motivated on how you should kickstart your day every morning from 7 till 9:55. So please, I urge you to get your head high, because here in Smart Men's Business, we're always here to give you information that needs to inspire you, needs to get your head running, question yourself. Question on how you've been, going about your business, and of course in life as well. Well, let's go in for this, and we shall be right back. Well, of course, in all you do, you have to trust in yourself. And of course, don't underestimate opportunities. I know at some point or the other, they may, seem a little bit dirty, or maybe a lot of work is involved, but then that is your opportunity. Go for it. Go big. Show the world what you've got. Now, of course, growth is never by mere growth. It is a result of forces working together. So if you want to grow, you have to grow with others. You don't grow by yourself.
That is true.
Someone has to hold your hand one way or the other. It could be your mentor. It could be your, role model. So that all entails growth. You learn from others.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. It's always a collective effort. It matters how you you collaborate, how you understand your people right there, and it will determine how far you will go in actually when it comes to prosperity, business prosperity, sharing ideas, business ideas. I need some help here. Help me out. It all comes about how you cooperate with people. People are part of development.
Yes, of course, one way or the other, you need someone to hold you by your hand. It could be, because there is a lot of competition actually in Uganda, people do not even face their neighbors. They don't want to know. In case they have a challenge, you see someone, failing on their own. But of course, yes, the competition is there. It is healthy, because for you to grow, you also have to have a little bit of competition, one way or the other. So, but seek guidance. Yeah, if
That's
you see
absolutely right.
his business is attracting many people, go and consult. Ask, how do you do it?
That is true.
Yeah. So really share ideas, engage people. Yeah, and that is how you're going to grow, because on your own, I don't think you can know your mistakes. You cannot know your mistake until someone has told you what is not.
I agree entirely.
What is not good on your end. Well, away from getting expired and all that, which is good, we're talking about value-added tax. Looking at 60% of businesses in Uganda failing due to high taxes, most of them closing down due to high taxes. And of course, URA came up and saying that there is no compliance. Yeah, people are not paying their dues. Yeah.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
But of course, that has quite a number of factors
Yes.
for the country like Uganda. Yeah, because if you can get to realize about 80% of the businesses operating in the informal sector, and that's leading to about 12 trillion shillings lost annually due to that. That's a big factor. So now the issue here is because now these businesses don't have proper records, they don't keep records properly. So it's hard for you to kind of attribute the tax. What tax are you paying? Because you don't even have the IFRS, you don't have all these. So it really contributes a lot.
The education, should we say they're not well educated?
And it's not about being educated.
No. You know, talking about these new technologies that have come into shape. Yeah, could it be one of the reasons as to why probably some of them are defaulting?
First of all, majority have not accessed education. That's the first thing, because some of these exposures you get them when you get a chance to, get exposed. And even these technologies have not been in position to reach their places due to various reasons, because you need internet. Okay, the internet is available because we're talking about urban areas, but accessibility to that staying informal. But still away from that, the current situation whereby we saw a factor. I was having a discussion with an economist, and the discussion was, why is it that macroeconomic factors don't interplay in households? The fact that our economy is largely informal, anything that happens above the macro perspective doesn't impact the micro perspective. We hear figures, inflation is reducing this, but they don't experience that. And they are very sure that, once I get a tax identification number, I get my company registered, they're going to follow me up. Because even when you consider the brutal methods sometimes the Uganda Revenue Authority uses when it comes to collecting these taxes, and the brutal methods sometimes are accompanied with corruption. We're talking about they have captured your staff, and you go pay a bribe or something. So people feel like this. The system itself, in terms of governance, the governance structures in all spheres of government agencies, due to their internal weaknesses. Because now one of the key factors we've seen compliance issues is weak tax administration in Uganda. And so it puts a lot of questions as we try to look for solutions, because 12 trillion we lose annually is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And considering the fact that we have a limited tax base, because most of the taxes that Uganda relies on are value-added tax and import duties. And now these are not reliable because these are kind of affected by global price fluctuations. If you say that you're choosing all this. So it can create for you a picture of why we still have compliance challenges.
Well, of course, Uganda is expected to collect 29 billion, from taxes this year, and of course, over time, URA has never hit that target, due to the fact that probably people feel burdened. Mostly people in the small enterprises, the small medium enterprises, they feel burdened with the taxes, and of course, most of them that are into the importation also, face a lot of taxes, and of course, at the end of the day, it affects the market, the prices of goods in the market. So we can imagine if I imported goods worth and a certain percentage, 30% was cut off, out of my imported goods. At the end of the day, I'll have to compensate for the 30% lost. And of course, you know that there is also such a supply chain. To the final consumer, you understand at the end of the day, we are the ones that pay more. Because of the value-added taxes that are imposed on every chain. On every chain, there is a tax that someone has to pay. So to the final consumer, we find ourselves burdened with the increase of prices.
Definitely. The burden is impacted back to you, the buyer. And now I would also speak about the aspect of weak enforcement. when it comes to weak enforcement, I'm not trying to say because sometimes there are brutal methods of collecting taxes, but weak enforcement in terms of tax education, why people need to. Okay, I understand the Ghana Revenue Authority has done a massive aspects of educating people on taxes, but this shouldn't be something that you do in 1 year and you say, okay, we did the campaign.
We are done. Because I think every day everyone needs to be reminded.
It has to be a consistent reminder, just like you go to church every day and you're reminded that Jesus is Lord. The same should be the gospel of taxation. Should be out there every day. We told having media campaigns regarding this, and the reason that's why really people need to pay taxes. Of course, we understand what taxes are made for, but I think also another issue that has led to low compliance is the aspect of the citizens have lost morale because the mistrust we have when it comes to collecting these taxes and they're not utilized efficiently. You know, because if you take a look at the taxes we collect vis-a-vis the public dates increasing, so you ask yourself, of course, accompanied with other external revenue sources from grants and loans, which are not reliable because even the donors themselves put strings recently. We saw the World Bank issue and all this. So it puts you to a point that, hey, you have to rely on your domestic revenue. But then where is the revenue when you've not empowered the people that are contributing to that revenue? In terms of providing, establishing sound economic policies, providing the right infrastructure, you know, and creating a tax-friendly atmosphere. That is the big issue. Because today, when you go and discuss with any person, any business person, they're going to tell you the big issue we have here is taxes.
Yes.
You know, the prices and all this when it comes to the fact that we are a landlocked country at the same time. So the impact is quite heavy. It's quite heavy.
Well, of course, for the citizens, at the end of the day, they want accountability.
It's what matters, actually.
They want accountability. You're saying you've collected billions of money, but we're not seeing the results. Where is this money going?
Where is this money going?
Yes, I want to see if I've been paying my dues, paying my taxes. I want to see the road leading to my car shop being worked on. I want to see developments in my home area. So that is one of the reasons that's probably, people are really reluctant to paying taxes. They feel like, well, I'm going to pay taxes at the end of the day. Someone is going to walk away with trillions of money. We're going to benefit out of it. Because, this entity is known for, known for corruption scandals. Yeah. Okay. For having corruption scandals. Bribery is the talk of the day. When you step in, it's everywhere. It's written all over the faces. And of course, the unfair methods they use to tax. They come, they throw your things out, and you're like, isn't there a way that we can resolve this? Give me a warning letter. Okay, fine, do something, but do not forcefully take me in, and grab my things and take them out, just like KCCA does once in a while and throws people's things away from the streets. So people want to see what their money is used for. They want accountability. Yeah.
Accountability.
How am I benefiting? How is my child going to benefit from the taxes I'm paying? Yes, the factories are okay, fine. I must say there's been some developments, because Charlotte was arguing that she has not seen something. So should we say that the roads that were constructed, at least there was some revenue there out of the taxes that were collected? Because you can imagine Uganda has one of the most expensive roads. How is that even possible?
Yeah, but of course, most of them are built by loans, grants we receive from that.
So if we get loans, yes, if you get loans, where does the money that we pay for taxes go to?
Servicing part of it is to service the public debt.
Yes,
and we know that part of almost half of the budget.
Maybe that is what people should be should be educated about. Because people don't want to know they're paying debt. No, someone wants to know, how am I going to benefit? Yes. So definitely there has to be education every year. It has to be an initiative. Get time, go and educate the people, remind them. Some of them forget. They have a lot of issues pending in their business, so they have to be reminded on a daily on paying their taxes. Just like, I like KCC the way it does their things. There is have that man walking around, and every after like 2 weeks he's on your door and they're reminding you. So keep yourself into the system of, oh, okay, I have to pay. So that is what your should do.
Yeah, but also excess exploitation is not good, because if you're exploiting your tax base, then what are you going to have for the future? Think about that, because that's why the informal sector will keep on increasing. People will go off. We call it going off the grid.
Yeah.
And now I also have observed something. There is trade that happens across the borders of Uganda and, for example, Oraba town and Elegu border. When you really take a look at these towns, now, for example, Elegu, the transaction, they transact money worth 15 trillion Ugandan shillings. So I'm trying to understand what the Uganda Revenue Authority is putting up measures to maximize those markets. Actually, those districts, those towns that are bordering, there is a lot of trade that is happening there, and there is potential revenue. And I don't know how far the Uganda Revenue Authority has come. 15 trillion shillings, that is on Elegu border. And now when we come down here to, there is Oraba. Last as of 2022, URA recorded a tax of about 1.3 billion. But is that really matching the number of the trade that is happening? Because if Elegu can transact 15 trillion, Oraba, that means can also transact in the same range. So I'm trying to understand the tax of 1.3 billion. Anyway, it's still friendly, but I feel like there is more of enforcements that have to be done when it comes to those borders as one of the ways to maximize revenue. Because if in the city center, it's a little bit complicated, as we have observed, because here, you're not going to, it's complicated as compared to the border, because you can clearly see the transactions that are happening in there. It's easy to track these goods and services. So with the usage of technology, the Uganda Revenue Authority can actually do that. But the biggest picture is reducing on the brutality when it comes to tax revenue collections. I think people will actually get to start to pay these taxes efficiently and with a free heart.
Actually, we've been talking about this over time, about the foreign investors. And how, at one point, okay, fine, they are good, but at the end of the day, they cripple our economy one way or the other in terms of taxes. You realize most of the big companies, some of them do not pay taxes. Okay, some investors do, some do not pay, some do not. They have, the independence. They have tax holidays, incentives are put in place, whereas the local person, the local man, at the end of the day, they're the ones affected on behalf of the investors. Well, of course, we know that investment brings revenue to our country, but of course, I believe because they make the most money, people in the private sector, okay, they make the most money, the investors. So I believe, there has to be something that they tap onto them compared to, the people in the small enterprises, the small, medium enterprises in Uganda.
Yeah, that is true about the investors. But you see, there is something happening around the East African region that, despite the tensions we're seeing amongst the nations, there is a battle for foreign direct investment.
Yeah, competition.
Competition. Now, as a result of the foreign direct investment, each person is trying to attract investors by giving our sovereignty in terms of the tax base that we can have. So that way, we lose a lot of money. And once people get to know about this, definitely compliance issues are going to be birthed from that, because we shall feel like, because when the competition is excess, trust me, they give crazy tax incentives.
Yeah.
That if you're a domestic investor, you look at this tax incentive, you're like, oh my goodness, this is very unfair.
That is what is happening in Kenya right about now. The wealthy and large enterprises are undermining Kenya's attempt at growing tax revenues from a wide raft of tax incentives and exemptions handed down to them in the past decades. Yeah, so Kenya is also into the whole issue of that taxes. Yeah, so definitely it's around all the borders of West Africa.
Other borders of East
Even in
Africa.
Africa as well, not only in East Africa, but also Africa
Okay.
as well. Because we are fighting, everyone wants to have foreign, everyone wants to have forex, everyone wants to have foreign exchange. You know, it's a battle on who has a good environment for investors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you end up scrapping off taxes, which is way too much. Well, we've been discussing matters to do with compliance issues when it comes to taxation, and we've pointed out 5 major key challenges here. A big informal sector, 80% of the informal sector losing 12 trillion annually. Taking a look at that, we have a limit, and we know some of these imports are reliable to global price fluctuations, low tax morale, mistrust, because is also key. That there is no consistency in terms of making people aware that they have to pay the taxes, and weak administration, administration being a part of solutions can come out of that. Of course, most especially when it comes to governance issues, when it comes to how you use these taxes, when you collect these taxes, what are they doing for the people? Are people experiencing that they're paying the taxes, or they're being the beneficiaries are just a few class of people from that? Well, let's take a break, and the sports and business entertainment is coming up shortly after this break.
Smart 24, driving business.
Luxury redefined at Seasand Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy, exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving your choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full course meals for a truly out-of-this-world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to whet your throat, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brewage. It's an all-new experience in the East at Seasand Hotel, so visit today at Plot 15 to 19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 354 614 for reservations. Seasand Hotels, luxury redefined.
Cooking oil.